right, welcome back to Fright Night Flicks. You're here with Dan and Darren. What is going on, everybody?
Hi, everybody.
What's up? We are doing something different for once in our lives. No more Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie
thank
reviews.
God. All due respect, Texas Chainsaw.
All due respect.
We're ready to move on.
It's time. So we're doing something different. A newer movie. One would call it
Short legs.
Short Limbs.
We're both at the same stupid joke.
I was gonna say Short Limbs.
Long legs. We watched Long Legs.
Short Legs is too. I mean, that was a cookie cutter.
Well, yours wasn't much better.
Yes, it was Short Limbs.
Oh yeah, guys, tell them how great that was.
You know what? They were both bad jokes.
Next Adam Sandler over here.
That was a double bad joke.
Yeah, I agree.
So maybe scrub that in the edit, huh?
It never happened.
No, we're going to be going over Long Legs, and if you don't know, stars one Nicoloas Cage.
Dude, I gotta say, I love any movie with Nicoloas Cage. He's not like great, but he's fun.
I mean, well, there's some I don't, but I do like him for the most part.
I like the way he acts. He just goes 120%.
What than cats?
All gas, no brakes.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, but before we get into it, we got a little housekeeping to do on the Fright Night Flick side because we started a new Patreon and we're pretty excited about it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, back to me. Yep, that's the give and take relationship that we have. So right now we have 2 levels of Patreon. We have our base level, and then I would call it a super supporter level.
Yeah.
So base level will give you access to our Discord. We already have a Discord from our gaming channel, so we already have a bunch of people in there, and we have movies. We talk about movies and stuff. So if you guys would be interested and wanted to help support the show, the base level is totally appropriate.
And you get episodes early.
Oh, you get episodes
and ad free.
Okay, let me just start over here. Ad-free, early access to the episodes, which we do post early.
Shout out.
Discord access, and is that it?
Well, and you support us. Probably the more important part of it all.
Yeah. Now, our other level, if you wanted to pick the movie that we're going to watch, this is the level for you. So check it out. It's Friday Night Flicks, Patreon. The links in our whatever descriptions on here are. Just go check it out on Patreon.
We'd love the support, and thank you just for listening anyways.
We kind of need this support. All right, so starting this new movie, we kind of are trying to tweak our format a little just to make it a little, a little smoother.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of give just the brief. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to give a brief overview of the movie. Very brief, our initial thoughts, and then we're going to kind of jump into the movie.
Yeah, let's rock.
And then roll. Afterwards, we'll finish with our normal trivia. All right, before we do it, we have a couple comments we got to, of course, address. Like we said before, you leave a comment on Apple, we're going to read it. So we have our first one. Great podcast, Dan and Darren. Keep up the great work and doing what you're doing, man. And that is by Tricky Dance Moves Ricky.
Thank you, Tricky Ricky.
Tricky Ricky. That's just fun to say. All right, we got another one titled Favorite Podcast. I love these reviews. My favorite podcast, and it's not even close, by Darren T.E.
That's me. If you guys want to get shouted out too and want to help us out, please leave a review. It helps the podcast a ton. Honestly, helps it grow.
Hey, we got this guy trying to do reviews. Please don't make me read another one of his.
I gave a wink though, so they knew hey, it's me.
All right. So we are going over Long Legs, writer and director Osgood Perkins. You know who that is?
Nope.
There's something in the trivia that's very interesting about this director.
Oh.
/ writer.
All right. Wait till the end to find out.
Yeah. Starring Nicoloas Cage. Sorry, I'm going to butcher some of these names. Micah Monroe and Blair Underwood. Movie is in theaters currently. We watched it on Prime. We had to purchase it.
It's actually still in movie theaters?
I think it's still in theaters. Yeah.
Oh, that's why it was so expensive, huh?
Yeah, but there's an early release on Prime, so we just bought it.
Okay.
So the movie, I'm just going to sum it up off the dome because it's like that. So it's about an FBI agent who's...
It's not off the dome. It's written right there.
Yeah, but I'm not looking at it. You see my eyes are over here.
Okay.
So it's about an FBI agent who may have some supernatural powers investigating a bunch of it starts off as a serial killer, but really what it is, it's like these family annihilators, right?
Yeah.
These evil men that just murder their whole families, and then they tend to kill themselves.
The whole family gets wiped.
Right. But there's a mysterious man among this.
Cuckoo.
A man they call Long Legs, who seems to be kind of making all this happen.
Right.
Maybe demonic, maybe possessed. Maybe he's working with The Man Under the Stairs?
The Man Under the Stairs, yeah.
Is it under the stairs or down the stairs?
I don't know, you screwed me up. It's under.
The
It's
man-
under.
yeah.
Underneath, below.
And the orders from the man downstairs.
So basically, we're going to go through this adventure with this FBI agent and figure out what is really going on. And maybe we can come to a conclusion by the end of the movie.
Stupid face, sure. I mean, I have lots of things in my head about this movie.
I know. We can't go too deep because this one took my brain on a little bit of a roller coaster.
Dude, honestly, it's like I'm afraid to talk because once I get going, I can't stop.
Yep. I've heard that. I don't know if I've heard that, but someone.
I've heard that.
I've not
What's your
heard that.
stupid head doing?
I have not heard that. All right, Rotten Tomatoes. I always like to take a little look and see what the people thought of it. Critics 85, popcorn meter, audience 60.
Yeah, so when I see this, typically I think it's a very artsy movie that I may not enjoy as much as the critics do. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, I typically am opposite of critic. Like if I see the critics low, audience high, I'm in.
Yeah.
So if I see that, definitely 100%. If the critics are high, audience is low, I'm out. It's bad. Don't watch it.
100%. I'm with you. This one's interesting though because they're both high. 60's not bad.
Okay. No.
It's not great,
bad.
but it's not bad.
I totally understand that rating actually for this. It's interesting. So let's just start with our initial impressions.
So
This is spoiler free right now at this point.
yeah, so on my first watch, I was kind of frustrated and a little annoyed. I didn't actually know if I liked this movie that much because, dude, when you watch this movie, it takes you on a journey, a magical journey. Really, there's like a ton of questions with it, right? And a lot of things that are left unanswered, open to interpretation, one might say.
Yeah, I'd say that's accurate.
Yeah, so it's like I was a little frustrated. I did like Nicoloas Cage in it because Nicoloas Cage does what he does and he's insane and he actually adds to the character. I think it really played well. He's Longlegs, if you guys didn't know.
Knock, knock.
Spoiler alert.
It's not much of a spoiler. But on my second watch, and honestly, I liked it better. And I actually think it's a really good movie. I had fun with it.
Okay.
Now, would I rewatch it? I don't know. I don't know if I watch it again, but I did enjoy it. So
Okay.
it is what it is.
Yeah, I would say it is a different type of movie. How do I say? It's desolate.
Wouldn't you say it's in the vein of The Shining?
I don't know. People say a lot of like Silence of the Lambs, but honestly, I can't even remember Silence
God,
of
it's
the
been
Lambs.
forever. It reminded me a little bit of The Shining. You know what it felt like the whole time? It felt like a dream.
Yeah, there's a lot of emptiness, like alone. Like even though you're in a city or a police station, there's not a lot of people around.
There's not a huge cast. Like main characters, there's hardly any.
Yeah, but it's definitely like interesting. I always like a little bit of a mystery, and this one kept me on the edge kind of the whole time. A lot of, I wouldn't say it's like a really scary movie. It's a little bit more on the disturbing side.
Yeah.
So and it like, keeps you on edge, a little tense, a lot of suspense. But yeah, I really first time through, same thing. Like I finished, I'm like, ugh, I don't know how I felt about that. And then second time through, I'm like, you know what? The fact that I watched it a second time and was like way into it, looking to like solve the puzzle, I was like, okay, I at least enjoyed it.
That's what it is. Like the whole time you're watching, it's like you're expecting things to happen. You're constantly looking around, and I think they do that on purpose, maybe with the angles or something of the shots. You're constantly looking to try to see if you can figure out what's going on, right?
Well, there's like multiple shots. I know there's one for sure where this isn't again, try not to spoil.
Spoiler free.
No, spoiler free. Where she's sitting at a desk on the phone, and the way they angle the camera, it's at her house where you're looking down like a hall through like kind of back into another room.
Yes.
And you can see like way too much. Like you don't want to see that much.
Well, because you're constantly expecting something to happen.
Right.
And by the way, I thought the music was really good too.
Yeah.
And sometimes just the lack of music made it scary. It's like there's no noise. What's going on?
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was shot well. I mean, from what I know, I'm no expert.
No, we know nothing.
Anyways, that's kind of our initial impression. So let's go ahead and jump right into the movie. So we start off meeting Mr. Longlegs. So it starts in the snowy wilderness. It's a very desolate scene. This white house, two-story white house, kind of in the middle of nowhere. And that's where we meet our character, Agent Harker. But this time, she's a little Harker.
She's a little kid, yep.
Yeah, she's on the second story. Like a car pulls up, and she runs out there and meets this character, Longlegs.
Is this where the actual first meeting is, where he announces himself?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is really weird. Yeah, because again, the house is kind of all by itself, and in the snow, and again, the sound is really kind of creepy, right? And you're kind of figuring out, like, what is this scene?
They shot it, like, it's weird. It starts off in this weird, like, aspect ratio. where it's not like the full screen.
Yeah,
it's
I
like
know-
a square.
I noticed that because I may or may not have been recording it for the show.
Don't admit to anything. You shut your mouth.
Yeah, where I got the clips from, nobody knows.
Yeah. No, it's shot really strange in the beginning. And then I wondered again, because that comes out throughout the movie in certain spots. And I'm like, does this have to do like with something else? You know what I mean? Like, and
Who
I'm sure it
knows?
does.
Who knows? But yeah, dude, I actually like the intro of Longlegs.
Well,
because-
I forgot to say, let me just jump
Okay,
in.
go
So
ahead.
it shows Longlegs who it only shows like his mouth and below at first. And that's where he has his line. It seems I wore my long legs today. And then he drops down into scene.
Seems I wore my long legs today. What happens if I...
And then it like there's like a little jump
it shows
scare.
his mouth and below.
Yeah,
Oh, is
like
that
he's
what-
tall. He's
Oh,
too
because you
tall.
can't see his face. Is that what you're saying? Oh, okay, yeah. I actually loved that intro. I thought it was really weird. It's just weird. It's like, oh, I have my long legs on today, and then he drops down. I'm like, oh, it's kind of disturbing.
Yeah. Long legs better than the long dick on.
Yeah, that would be a horrible movie.
That's our first shot of Nick Cage as Longlegs. And yeah, initially I'm like, I'm in.
And just so you know, yeah, he's got like some weird looking face. It's like all white. Like it almost looked like he was frozen.
Yeah, he's got like a cake face.
Yeah, well, white cake face.
Yeah, he's like extreme white face in it.
Yeah, for
And it's
sure.
like he kind of looks like an old woman a little bit.
Later he does. Almost feel like his face changed during parts of it. You're right though. There's a part where it's like his face looks like a woman.
Yeah, it's like full and I don't know, and the hair's like stringy.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Whatever.
No judgment to stringy haired women out there. Just saying. So now we move to part one. This is like it has a part one, his letters. And we meet Harker, who is now grown up, and she has become an FBI agent, a very strange FBI agent, but an FBI agent.
Yeah, just to give you like, she doesn't talk much, and she has weird like tics almost, right? Like with her face.
No, sir. You said 4 were murdered. I don't understand.
Yeah, it's odd. I was like, the first thing I thought is like, how is she an agent? Because she doesn't speak.
Well, and another thing that's also weird, they just kind of throw you into it. You don't see her progress to be an agent. It's just like, boom, she's like I think a newer agent on the force.
Yeah. So what I got is like she's brand new and she gets a brand new partner, and they're going to investigate like a murderer.
Right.
Like so, it's like it looked like a task force she was a part of. They sent them all out. They go and investigate. They go into this neighborhood where it's like all the houses look the same. Again, everywhere we go in this movie, it's like busy. Like as far as they go into a neighborhood with all these houses, but nobody's there.
Yeah, you
It's
don't see
empty.
a lot of people. It is
It's
empty.
empty,
Oh.
which gives it this like creepy vibe. So
Well, yeah, again, everything's off-putting because you're like, why isn't anyone out?
yeah,
Where is everybody?
we don't know.
Dead. That's
Well,
where
we
they
find
are.
one
They're
guy.
dead.
Well, we find one guy because her partner. Well, actually, this is where we see Harker has an ability, like a kind of psychic ability. She figures out, like, off of, I forget how, like a sensation where she knows that the criminal is in this particular house.
Right.
It's that one.
What's what one?
3525. He's in there.
What makes you say that?
I don't know.
Like, so she kind of picks it out, or sends her partner, or her partner goes over to the front door where he just gets shot in the face.
Yeah, well, she warned him. She wanted to call him for backup, and he's like, no, we got this. Which, understandably, like, why would you just trust someone on a whim, right? He didn't know that anyone was dangerous in there, but yeah, that was shocking. He got just taken out immediately.
Yeah, but then it's funny you say backup because she didn't call for backup after he got shot in the face.
I know. I thought the same thing. I'm like, okay, now you're just running in this building. Like, your partner's dead. Time to just get on the call, right?
Yeah,
Whatever.
I thought this part was weird because then she just goes in, clears the house, finds the guy sitting on a bed, and I guess arrests him.
Yeah. Again, there's questions. Why didn't he kill himself? There's probably a reason. I can't remember what that reason is, though.
I don't think there was a reason. I think that was just it. Because then we go into her psychic abilities.
Now, the idea, though, he is part of these killings, right? Part of the long legs stuff.
Was he?
I don't know.
Because that dude
Now
was
that I
like
think
that
about it,
dude.
I don't know.
I don't think so. That dude was just in a house. Remember, it was all like it had all the like plastic wrap over everything.
Whatever.
He never came up again. I don't know what that was.
There's a lot of questions in this movie, and this was the first.
Yeah.
Maybe, but see, you know what? I listened to the director, or I read something he wrote, and he said there's 2 ways to watch this movie. You can dissect the whole thing, or you can just like have fun with it. I kind of just want to have fun with it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll try, but I don't know if it's possible.
No, we have to dissect now that I said
We're
that.
not going to
What am I
go crazy.
thinking?
Well, we can't dissect through this part. We have another movie or video coming out where we're going to get into the theories. That's
Yeah,
later.
I know.
That's later on. So she goes back with the FBI where they're now like testing her for gifts. And then again, we see that aspect ratio, but it's the projector where they're showing her images.
Yeah. So after that happened, I think they realized she had some telekinetic. She had some psychic ability, right?
Yeah.
And so now they're testing her, showing her different images. By the way, one of these images, do you know, it was like the upside down triangle, and she said dad.
Mother, father.
I caught that later on.
Okay, that'll come back later.
Well, not in this review.
In the theories movie.
In our video after. So they go basically show her picture sheet, then they have her like guess a number, and she gets like 8 out of 16, which is pretty solid.
Well,
like
yeah, because it's a random number.
Between 0 and 100.
Yeah, so if you're getting 8 out of 16 half, that's really good.
So being that she has this ability, now she gets partnered up with another, I guess, one of our protagonists. That's a word movie people say, right?
I think so. It makes you sound smart.
So she gets paired up with Carter and Browning.
I need to talk to someone.
That's a slippery slope.
Who are working on these family annihilators. These men who they get possessed and, sorry, spoiler alert. These men who are murdering their families, then killing, what can I say? I don't want to get in trouble by YouTube.
Oh, no, you can say whatever you want.
And then taking themselves out, not to dinner.
Yeah, the whole family's getting taken out. The dad's doing it.
Yeah. So we learn that there's a letter that's left behind, and it's coded. This has happened 10 times, 10 houses for 10 families in the past 30 years.
Yeah, so they know that someone's doing this, right? They know that. Do they already know at this point it's Longlegs? I think they do.
They have. Each one has a coded letter signed by Longlegs.
Yeah, so they know he's doing it, but they don't understand how it's happening, right?
Right. Well, this is Carter has a funny line because he explains this to her that this happened so many times. They have this letter signed by Longlegs, and he says someone or something is making the fathers do it. So far, we've been goddamned to figure out what or who. But he just explained it's Longlegs, like
Made by the same hand, Longlegs. Someone or something is making the fathers do it. We've been goddamn to figure out what or who.
Like, it's like you just told her it's this Longlegs guy,
Oh yeah, mystery solved. Movie over.
Yeah. So they basically somehow Longlegs has something to do with it. They don't know why or how.
Okay.
So Harker starts like investigating the case and figures out the only commonalities to everything is that the daughters have a birthday on the 14th.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this show does get into the numbers at times, and I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not a numbers guy. I do not like listening to the numbers, and sometimes I just mentally check out of the math that they're building for me. I'm not interested.
Dude, it is hard because they keep throwing these numbers, and then we'll explain a little more as we go. But it's like, I don't want to have to write this down to figure this out.
No, it's like, I don't understand. I've watched it twice. I still don't understand how the numbers made the pattern. I'm sure if I sat down and looked at it, I'd know.
But you don't want to.
I refuse to.
Okay. A refusal to learn.
Yeah.
Math.
No, I'm not doing math while I'm watching a movie.
Okay, so Carter takes Lee Harker, so it's Lee Harker.
We can just call her Lee.
Okay, we'll just call her Lee because there's another Harker that's going to come into play in a little bit.
Yes.
So Lee out for a drink, which Lee doesn't even drink, but she's going out with him, I guess, just to learn.
She didn't want to. He kind of forced her to.
Yeah, this whole thing's a little weird. But
I honestly thought he was bad for a little bit. I thought he was going to turn because I thought the way he handled this whole situation was weird.
You don't drink. You're right. I'll drink.
He might be, though.
Hey, dude,
that's a different.
Everyone, hey, guess what, guys? Everyone might be bad.
So basically, they go out to have a drink. It's a very fast, little event. But what we learn from it is Harker explains to him what she's figured out from more investigation.
You keep using him
Lee. Case.
Lee.
Same thing,
Okay.
Lee Harker.
Okay.
So she's learned that in all these cases, there's no sign of forced entry, no indication that Longlegs was actually ever in the house. There's no break-ins or footprints, nothing like that.
Right.
The murder weapon's always from inside the house, and it doesn't look like Longlegs actually kills anyone. Again, it's always the family member. Harker thinks also, Lee Harker thinks that he also may have an accomplice. So that's kind of sums up what she learns.
You know what I learned from it? That Carter goes to that location a lot because he knew the waitress's name.
Thanks, Melissa.
Yeah. Well,
that he drinks a lot. That's all I do.
yeah, Carter. So Carter basically explains, kind of like you get the vibe. He's out drinking when he should be home, and he knows he's in a little bit of trouble. So he has Lee drive him back to his place. And again, on the way, you get the vibe of like he's going to be in trouble when he gets home. The wife's going to be mad. So he brings her in the house to meet his family, and it seems like it's super late.
I don't know if we probably did say it. Just going to reiterate, Carter is Lee's boss. He's like in charge of this task force. Just saying it again.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and I do think it was really weird. First of all, he's been out late drinking with a girl. Then why would he, even though he works with her, it's still a bad look, but whatever. Then he has to drive him home and then forces her pretty much to go inside. Why would you do that?
All right, Harker. You get to come meet my wife and kid.
Do I have to?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm
You know what
telling
my
you,
wife would never want is me to bring in a coworker who's a female late at night into the house.
yeah,
That would never happen.
No, but I'm telling you, there's something more to this, and we're not again. We'll hit.
You're
that in the
totally
theory.
right, because it's just odd.
This whole scene is like really weird. Harker goes in, Lee goes in. I'm gonna say Lee or Harker. I feel like
You're the one who
keep
introduced
looking at
Lee
me.
now.
You keep telling me to say Lee. I just want to say Harker.
Okay, well, we're back to Harker then.
Harker, our Lee. We'll see. So she goes in the house, gets introduced to his wife, and then she meets Ruby, who's Carter's daughter.
Hello.
Now, this gets weird. Like the whole time, by the way, they're like, he's introducing him and Harker doesn't speak. She just like nods
Yeah, Harker doesn't say much at all, honestly.
until she goes in Ruby's room and they just have like a one-on-one convo.
Like yet again, it's like past midnight. I think they said it was the next day, so it's late. They just let some random girl who they barely know in the room with their daughter alone. Like
Well,
that's
I
just a
don't
weird
think-
thing to do.
I don't think that's weird, but because
Oh, you don't?
well, it's like they're just talking.
Whatever. I'm
like-
being nitpicky. I don't care about
Yeah,
that.
that's
Moving on.
to me not weird, but the conversation is super weird between them because Ruby explains that she'll grow up, and she likens that to like a vil.
What?
A vil.
You don't know what a vil is. Do you know what a vil is?
Yeah, is it like a baby deer? It's a thing people eat.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So she says like a vil, they grow up in a box where their legs are tied up, but they still grow. And then Harker explains that she wanted to be an actress. This is like the point of this conversation. Harker explains that she wants to be an actress, to which Ruby explains that messes kids up. Harker agrees. And then Harker kind of explains that it's scary being a lady FBI agent.
I actually wanted to be an actress.
That messes up kids.
So they say.
Super weird combo. Not flowing at all. Like,
Well,
they're just two odd people talking.
yeah. I can't tell if the actress that's the daughter is just a bad actress or if they're wanting her to be purposefully weird. I don't know.
I'm telling you, there's something that we haven't exactly caught in this whole thing.
I liked when the trophy had the missing head, and then Harker asks Ruby, like, oh, where's the head? And she's like, oh, well, or what happened? And she's like, oh, the head fell off. And then Harker's like, yeah, that's what I do. And she's like, I find things.
What happened to this one?
Its head got cut off. I don't know where it is.
Guess that's more my job. Finding things, I mean.
I'm
was-
like, what the F did that have to do with the missing
That's what I'm saying with this movie. There's all these parts where I'm like, I feel like I need to study this to understand what I just witnessed.
I don't feel that way. I'm just going to move on.
Actually, so are we. So Harker ends up back at her cabin. Again, cabin in the woods. There's a bunch of cabins around. No lights on, nobody around. It doesn't look like anyone actually lives around here.
It's a creepy looking cabin. It's like a cabin I've never even seen before.
Well,
Inside.
Yeah, I mean, it's all windows when no blinds.
Yeah. And I actually did like this part.
Yeah, all windows, no blinds. So Harker ends up getting on the phone, calls her mom, Ruth, where we see that their relationship is also odd.
Yes,
Hi, Mom. Yep, still only me.
spent the day at home. Where else would I be?
What are you doing in the house?
Trying to go through some stuff over here.
A lot on my mind. Work stuff.
Nasty stuff.
Yeah. As soon as they get on the phone, you're like, this doesn't sound like a mother and daughter who really know each other.
Yeah, there's a lot of talking, but nothing is said.
Yeah. It's like clearly something's going on between the two, and it just doesn't really make sense how they're even communicating.
No, they just say
Again,
words back and forth.
My first thought, I thought this was a dream, and like it's all like in her imagination or some psychological horror because nothing makes sense.
Yeah, it seems weird.
Yeah,
For sure.
it's off.
I get why you would say that because it's so empty and stuff.
Yeah.
So anyways, while she's talking to her mom, she hears a strange noise that's like whispered to her. And then there's like a loud bang on the door.
That was right after the mom mentioned her birthday.
Somebody's birthday.
Another little nugget there.
Little nuggies are coming in.
I can't explain it,
Here,
but
guys,
it's there.
take a bite. Harker goes to kind of investigate. I think she's out the window, sees something in the fog, runs out there. While she's out there, we see a figure go into her house, which we'll learn later on. It's Longlegs.
Yeah.
And he goes into the house.
That was for sure Longlegs? It wasn't.
No, I don't know if it's for sure. I'm pretty sure.
It could have been just the devil.
No. There's always somebody that's working. It would either be, there's a few people it could be. I think that was Longlegs.
Okay. All right.
So he goes into the house. So they do a little swap. She goes in, clears it. He's not there anymore. That part was weird because he just got in there so easily and was just like gone.
Well, I also thought it was weird because after she cleared the house, then she's just sitting down fine. I'd be panicked about it. I'm not staying at this freaking house. There's just a person in there.
Yeah, she wasn't worried about it, didn't call the police or anything. So she ends up finding the letter like we said, but it's sitting on the desk and it says, do not open until January 14th. So that ends part 1. And now we move on to part 2, all of your things. So Harker opens up the letter, finds out that it's a birthday card, which has a coded letter on the back from Longlegs. She uses like a Bible and like ends up like figuring out how to decode this whole thing.
Totally unclear how, don't care. We're just gonna call it magic. And
I forget if this one's the Bible. Maybe it's later she finds the demonic stuff. But anyway, she figures out how to decode this whole thing. Like Darren said, it involves numbers, so we don't speak of it.
It's just magic.
Magic, yes. So what the letter says is, tell them how you got this, how it came in your head. I'll cut off her hanging milk tits and bleed your mommy dead.
Wow.
Milk tits was not necessary.
Yeah, it's again, I still don't even know to this point why that letter was left there for her. But it was scary.
Yeah, I see. That's the thing. I can't put too much thought into this right now because it'll throw me off of everything.
Yeah, we don't need to think. Let's move on. So she got this creepy letter, so the killer knows who she is. That's what we get from this.
Yes, we'll go with that. And at this point, again, we get a phone call from Carter, but she's not mentioning that any of this happened, that there was a dude in her house and she has this letter. She just said she's going to go to this murder scene that Carter's telling her to come to.
Okay.
So at the new murder scene, same old story. Family's dead. They've been there for a while, though. Really, the biggest thing about this is they showed like a girl filled with maggots, which was disturbing.
Yeah, that was gross. Really gross.
That was like, okay, you guys are trying to get us in. It worked. So Harker decodes his message at that scene. It says, down low, too slow. Now Harker goes back to the station, gives her old Mama Harker a call. And we learned that Lee has a birthday coming up. That's kind of like all we learned about that. There wasn't too much more.
And birthdays matter a lot in this movie.
Numbers, birthdays, 6 days before birthdays matter.
Female birthdays in particular.
Yes. So Harker ends up going through some old case files and basically finds a lot of she's going over the other cases, finds a lot of devil made me do it, satanic cult stuff. So we're starting to learn the devil's involved.
This is when she's in the library, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So then she hears a whisper, and then all of a sudden she's opening up the 9 Circles of Hell book. So it seems like every time there's a whisper and stuff, she starts figuring something out. I'm wondering if that's the voice telling her, guiding her.
I think that's what I was going to say. I think something is guiding her through this whole process.
I mean, we act as if we just thought of that, but it's totally told to us a little later on. We're kind of
we
just
can't
holding that
tell
back.
you yet.
Yeah. Okay, so this is where she uses something with a bunch of numbers. I'm sorry, Darren, we're going to have to talk a little bit about numbers.
Thank you.
So she lays them all out, and then she's connecting the dots with these numbers, which creates that pyramid. That's where she brings out, again, that devil or the 9 Circles of Hell book and finds that symbol in there. And basically draws it on the numbers and figures out that this, again, is all a demonic thing.
It's an inverted triangle, which apparently is bad.
Apparently.
Which I'm well, what? Whatever. I'm not going to get into it. That's what it is.
Yeah. But then there's a slam into the window. It sounds like a bird hits the window again. It kind of cuts off that scene, but you keep hearing seeing these patterns going on.
Yeah, it's just every time there's something talking to her, there's just always these noises around her, especially when something's she's gonna find something, right?
Yeah. So
Harker
takes her algorithm back to Carter and kind of explains it. The first murder happens on July 14, 1966, and then the rest occur within 6 days of the daughter's birthday, either before or after, creating an inverted triangle.
This might be just a me thing, but I'm getting furious at these numbers.
Well, you know what bothered me about that is that it's before or after. I'm no. Let's pick one.
Yeah, within
6 days
6
before.
days. Yeah, whatever.
And it's the daughter's birthday. It just gets like where your brain's like, I don't like this.
Yeah, it's like okay, but like because then I'm like, well, why is it 6 days? Why isn't it just on the birthday? It's like, okay, well, it's just around the birthday. It just tends to happen. I don't know.
Yeah. So she said she decoded all the letters of the previous crime scenes. And then one thing that stood out was the fine time we had at the Camera family farm where X marks the spot.
I also decoded all his letters, the repeated reference to the fine time we had at the Camera family farm.
Dude, that's the funniest thing because so we're gonna go out to this family, this Camera that's a family, their farm.
Yeah.
Which you might have guessed from Camera family farm.
I mean, spoiler alert, they were all photographers.
Were they really?
No. I knew you'd bite on that though.
Well, because I'm like, that name. I'm like, what is that name? I've never heard the name Camera before.
I know.
Other than for an actual physical camera. But yeah, how she came up to that is forever a mystery to me because I've watched it twice. I have no idea how she came to that Camera family thing.
She went through the files.
Whatever.
I think something was whispered to her, to be honest.
Okay.
So we learned the Camera family father killed everyone except for his daughter, Carrie Ann, who happened to be at school and survived. Her birthday, shockingly, March 14th. And then the family was killed 6 days prior to that. So again,
within
we have
that
the
range,
pattern.
yeah.
It fits. Okay. That's all we need to know.
So we're going to go out there and explore.
Yeah. Yeah. So Carter and Harker go to the family farm.
Well, yeah, we actually missed something because they are going to go visit. I almost called her a Camera. Carrie Camera?
Carrie Ann.
Carrie Ann Camera. We're going to visit her because she's survived and she's in a mental institution.
Correct.
So on the way there, we're going to stop by the farm first, then go to the mental institution.
Right. Well, we're going to make a couple stops, but yes, in theory.
In theory.
So Harker, we get to the farm and Harker knows like right where to go.
Well,
like
X marks the spot.
I know, but like as soon as they get there, she's like, nope, it's over there. And like goes to the barn.
Yeah. Again, you're understanding she's being driven by something.
So they end up going to the barn where they find the crosses, which are the X's, and they're all over the place. So they find it basically all the way up till they get to the second floor, find it on the floorboard, open it up, and we find
the creepiest doll you'll ever see in your life.
Yeah. This guy makes like these weird lifelike dolls and they look just like the children.
Yeah. It looked real. When I first saw it, I'm like, this is a real person. But then you start staring at it. Then I'm like, is this an actor playing a doll?
Dude,
I mean, which honestly, it might be because the doll looks real.
There's multiple scenes where I first time watching through thought it was people and I think it was dolls. And I think there's parts still where I'm not even sure.
Well, no. So we're just so we know, outside of the movie, we're wondering if actors are actually playing the doll, which I still don't. I don't know.
I don't know. They're pretty lifelike. So they end up taking this doll to the medical examiner, who, by the way, loves this thing.
She's handmade and beautifully handmade at that. The hair is human, what's left of it. All in all, it's beautifully made by a highly skilled craftsman.
Oh, the medical examiner was weird.
Again, lots of weird men in this show.
Yeah.
Lots of odd men. So they end up finding he like dissected the thing and found a metal ball that he calls the brain. Now this metal ball is hollow, but it has an interesting like little effect to it. When he puts like, it looks like an ultrasound to it, it makes this hissing sound, which then sends Harper into like a trance. Where she finds Longlegs carrying or talking to a young Carrie Ann doll and like covering her with a black sheet.
Was that Carrie Ann who that was?
I believe so.
I think so too. Okay.
But I think it was a Carrie Ann doll.
Okay.
Not sure. Could be. They look the same, the child and the doll.
I think you're right though. I think it was the doll.
Because he covers it, right? And then puts it in
because Carrie Ann was
box.
never captured by her that we know of. By him. By Longlegs.
Don't think so.
I don't know. Did we also get the little images of the snakes in this part yet?
Yeah, that's like when she goes into the trance, she gets the red image with like snakes.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I hate snakes, so
it looks
terrifying.
come on, it's demonic.
Yeah.
But the one interesting thing that they kind of glossed over, the doctor said like when he had the ball, he could have sworn it was like calling his ex-wife's name.
The other night, I could have sworn it was whispering my ex-wife's name over and over again. I've been working very late, and of course it wasn't.
Over and over again. And he's like, yeah, but of course it wasn't.
I love that too. I'm like, hold on. That's really weird, right? Because you seem to like, no, it did say that. Like
why would you bring it up if it wasn't like something? You know?
Like this doll may have something to do with some big weird murders that are happening everywhere. Why are you just admitting that or omitting that, right? It's weird.
Well, he admitted it. He didn't omit it. Omit it's not saying.
I guess he omitted saying more. It is weird that did make me laugh. I'm like, that's actually an important piece you need to talk about.
Yeah, it's like maybe if you guys just dug a little deeper there, we might have gotten to the bottom of something.
The doll told me I'm going to burn in hell, but you guys don't need to know about that.
It's no big deal. No big deal. Now we jump over to Longlegs. We actually get to hang out with him a little bit.
So wait, maybe we'll just give an overview. At this point, what we know, Longlegs is making these dolls.
Okay,
these dolls
yes.
are found in these people's houses who are getting murdered.
I don't know if we've said that yet,
But
but
we're
yes,
just gonna tell 'em.
Yeah, Longlegs makes these dolls, put this little ball in their head, brings them. They end up going to these houses where everybody's murdered. We'll explain how that happens later.
Yeah, Carrie Ann. Lee Harker is on the case. She's being driven by some power we don't know, but she seems to know everything.
And yeah, has a lot of flashes where she sees this red snake, like demonic type thing, and then she sees these images.
Okay.
So Longlegs goes to the paint store where he's getting supplies for, I think, his dolls. He takes a couple of supplies, goes to the register, meets a young girl. When she asks him, like, what can I help you with? He does this, like, hand over eyes and does a cuckoo, cuckoo.
I mean, you didn't have to do it. I could just show it.
Cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo.
Oh, yeah, I heard that.
Dude, you know what's funny? Anytime something happens with Longlegs, I immediately think, is this something that was written or is this just Nicoloas Cage doing him? Because I think that was him.
It's hard. I don't know. I feel like that might be written. This next part, I think, is him. So he gets basically run out of there.
Wait, can I just say, though, that was creepy. It's weird. It's just so weird that he would do it. And he looks weird.
Yeah, he looks weird and it's very unsettling.
Yeah.
It's very unsettling. So he gets in the car, and this is where I think you see Nick Cage personally. And I don't know how I even feel about this. He starts to scream out, "Daddy, Mommy, unmake me and save me from the hell of living." And he's like screaming this. I don't want to do it because it's embarrassing.
Yeah, don't do it.
Daddy! Mommy! Unmake me! And save me from the hell of living!
I mean, this is 100% Nick Cage doing Nick Cage. 100%, right?
It has to be. Like, it's weird. Like, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes with his the way he played it, it's so weird. I like that part, but also then sometimes it's like, think a little over the top.
This part I thought was the one part where I'm like, it's a little corny. Corny.
Yeah, this and the screaming or the singing, I didn't like.
Isn't this the singing?
Maybe this was singing.
It was singing. Yeah.
Yelling, singing. It sounds similar.
You know what? And we're not going to go into it. A theory I had heard, and we're not going to talk about this later or anything, is that he could be a ex-rock star who then sold his soul to the devil. It's a theory.
Okay, I mean, I could see some of that. There were quotes from bands. There's a lot of other stuff we're not going into.
Right.
All right, so back with Carter and Harker, they go to the mental hospital, and we learn they're going to see that Carrie Ann, the one that survived from another murder scene.
From the camera family.
Yeah, and we learned that, I almost said Leatherface, Longlegs has visited the day before, and he's signed in as Agent Lee Harker, or he said Lee Harker.
It's almost like he's trolling her at this point.
Yeah, he's one step ahead always. But we learned that Carrie Ann had been like comatose, like not talking to anybody for years. And after that visit, they thought like all of a sudden she got revitalized. Well, in reality, I think that's what the doctor thought. But I think what it is, they found her doll and took the ball out of its head. And that's what really changed it.
Yes, I think, and we'll find out. That would make sense with what happens later.
Yes. So you're thinking like the ball's out of your head, you're good to go. I don't think so.
The ball's out of your head?
Ball's out of head.
Ball out of doll head.
Ball out of the doll's head. It releases.
Bless your souls who are listening to this movie because it's wild.
Dude, there's like a lot. We could spend a whole episode just talking about what that really means. We're not going to though. No. So Carrie Ann seems to like know Harker. Like they've almost been around each other in the past, but Harker has no memory of her.
Well, she says that. She's like,
I've seen you before.
I don't think so.
Been to my house. Or someone looks lots like you anyway.
I sees you, or she kind of talks really weird.
I'm going to get into that. Let me just run through this, because we got to get to that. So while Carrie Ann's talking to Harker, right, we go into this like flashback where her mom is like cutting herself. This is Carrie Ann's mom. Okay. And then the mom's like stabbing the doll. That's like very unsettling.
Yeah. I was like, why is she doing that?
Yeah. I don't know though. She's stabbing the doll. And then the dad goes outside and cuts the head off a cow.
God.
Yeah, it's weird. And then comes back in, murders the pastor, then kills the mom. And then the like doll's sitting there. The whole, like they're coming. It looks like they're coming to the doll, but it's hard to tell if it's doll or Carrie Ann. But Carrie Ann's not supposed to be there, right?
She wasn't.
at
She was
school.
outside or something.
She was supposed to be at school.
Yeah, she wasn't there. I don't think.
It's the doll. But then we see the doll too. I like actually one of my favorite parts is when they show it with that black cloth and you see like the devil or the demon underneath.
Yeah, it's real creepy.
So you
know that doll is bad.
The doll is very bad. Yes. So Carrie Ann goes on to explain she's been waiting for Longlegs for like a long time. And then she gets into this really strange talk. And I wrote it down here because it's odd. Or do you want to just put it up?
You write it down or you read it because I don't know if I'm going to get hit if I play all the audio.
Okay. If he told me to kill you right here in this room with my bare hands, I'd surely do. Just happy as peaches to watch. I don't know why I'm doing Southern. Is she Southern?
Yeah, it's close.
Okay. Just happy as peaches to watch your heavy heart go pop, pop, and your eyes go all blood. I don't know. She says like pop, pop, eyes.
Dude, it's really weird the way she starts talking. I'm like, what is this?
It's almost like a kid trying to be cute, but it's like just weird.
Yeah. It's like kid cute talk, but evil.
And boy, I just want to do whatever so he says me to do. Like if he told me to take a jumpy out a window, I'd surely do. Just happy as peaches to watch the ground as it come up to meet me. Or if he told me to kill you right here in this room with my bare hand, I'd surely do. Just happy as peaches to watch your heavy heart go pop, pop, and your eyes is to go all to blood.
Yeah, and this is like during this talk, it's the first time that actually might be the second time now that we hear about the man down the stairs or under the stairs.
Yeah.
So that talk comes into the play again. Back at the police station, Harker explains they're like her and Carter are trying to figure this whole thing out. They explain in some cultures, dolls are used with magic to control people. See where this is going? So Carter explains Harker's mom, like this is kind of like a bomb that dropped, called in a police report one day before Harker's 9th birthday. They say 9th, these numbers, now you're like 9, but I would have thought it was 14. No, but that's the day
you're
born.
within 6.
It's like a beautiful mind, like numbers everywhere. So that's where we learn Harker's birthday is on the 14th though.
Okay. Yep.
So we learned her mom called in. There was some weird dude at the house, a trespasser who was tall and pale. Do I need to say more?
It's Longlegs, all right. And then Harker doesn't remember any of this.
Right.
So
Longlegs had visited. So Harker goes to her mom's house to see if her mom remembers anything from that day. Now we meet Ruth Harker, who is pale, hippie, very odd.
Yeah, and she's on drugs, right?
You think, but
I thought I saw needles in there.
There were, but I don't know if that's drugs. She used to be a nurse, but I never saw drugs.
Yeah, I'll tell you this, she seems like she's on drugs.
Correct. But if you're possessed, how would you seem like you're on drugs?
It depends on the possession. I mean, what level are we talking here?
Yeah. So Lee asks about her 9th birthday, and Ruth says she doesn't remember anything. And it's kind of like, do you remember anything? To which neither of them remember anything. So Ruth explains that no one ever came to visit them. And she explains that Lee was allowed to grow up.
No one ever came to visit us. Not any family, no strangers, no big bad wolves, no anybody. You're not a child because you were allowed to grow up.
And this is where we first start hearing that kind of like she was allowed to grow up.
Yeah, and right there, it's odd. It's like no one ever visiting, and they talk about no bad wolf visits or anyone.
And not all little things are allowed to live. This is the kind of talk we're having.
Yeah, really, really odd. And then you start even thinking where's do they have no family? Where's her father?
Yeah.
All questions you might want to ask yourself.
Dude, I never even thought about the father part.
Of course you didn't. You have small brain.
My gosh.
Oh my God.
Okay, so Lee ends up going through her old toy chest where she finds a Polaroid where she has the flashback where she realizes she not only met Longlegs as a kid, she took a picture of him.
Yeah. She has some instant little flash. And then, now we got a picture of Longlegs in her house nonetheless.
Yeah. So Harker ends up going around her house and she gets drawn to the basement door.
She kind of just stares at it. Again, it's that noise, whatever's leading her.
Yeah, well, she sees a cockroach come out, and then she has that red snake flash.
Yeah.
And then she goes into the flashback where she's with Ruth, And this is where it's kind of weird because you see like this scene got kind of built out in a couple different ways. Like we saw one scene where we see Ruth take the phone, try to make a call.
Who the F's Ruth? Oh,
that's her mom.
Okay, Ruth is Lee Harker's mom.
Yes.
Okay.
Where she picks up the phone to try to call because like there's somebody coming to the house, which she assumes Longlegs. The car's pulling up, calls the cops, but she gets that like a snake, the
like
devil
the phone's
noise,
possessed.
Right. And then she has like a shotgun. Now we see the part where Lee takes the photograph and then Ruth comes out to confront Longlegs.
Lee takes the photograph of Longlegs. Again, this is when Lee was small.
Right.
Lee.
Yes. Baby Lee. This
all
is
around her
flashback.
14th birthday.
Right.
Within
and then,
6 days, plus or minus.
So then Ruth comes out, and this is where we see Longlegs like do this weird song.
Let me in now, make me go now, and I have to come back.
And then he explains to Ruth that he's a friend of a friend that lives downstairs.
My friend that lives downstairs.
Dude, and again, Nicoloas Cage plays this great because it is freaking odd. The way Longlegs acts is just, he looks weird, and his singing incorporated with the things he says is off.
I think I could have totally done without the singing with him, but I do overall like the way he played it.
I mean, I like it because it's weird.
I
like it. It's just weird.
You ain't wrong about that. Okay, so flash now to the present. She's out of her little trance, Lee. She knows who Longlegs is, so she meets up with Carter, and she has that Polaroid. Basically gives it to Carter and is like, hey, go find this guy. This is Longlegs. They arrest him. He's like standing at a bus station with bags packed. Like he knew this was coming and ready to go.
Right.
Goes to the police station and things start to get more interesting now.
So now we know on the 14th birthday of Lee's 14th birthday, another way to say it, just as correct as the first way, that she met Longlegs and the mom knows about it, but no one's talked about it. Lee can't remember for whatever reason. Her mom's hiding stuff from her. So that's where we are.
Was that on the 14th? It was near the 14th birthday. Let's just go with that.
Yeah, near the 14th.
We know that there's these dolls. Longlegs puts these balls in their head. They become somewhat possessed.
Yeah, boom.
I don't know. We'll get into it here in a second. Okay, so back at the police station, Harker's talking to Carter, and they basically like figure out that Longlegs has to be working with someone who knows these families because he's getting these dolls into their house. So basically now we've come to the point, I think they're realizing that these dolls are possessing the family somehow.
Well, you say that, but I don't think Carter believes that there's an accomplice. He's he's fighting Lee on that point.
He may be, but
there might be a reason why. I don't know.
Yeah. So we learned that it's not over and we are still missing the 13th to complete this triangle. So even though they arrested Longlegs, that whole triangle thing, there was like one missing, which was the 13th. Again, whatever.
Yeah, so and Harker is very much like, hey, just because he's here, it's not over. There's someone else out there.
So Harker goes in to do some interrogation with Longlegs. And the first thing that I thought was odd, other than Longlegs himself, he is so happy to see her.
Oh, there she is, the almost birthday girl.
Yeah.
Like he's like crying in joy and calls her like the almost birthday girl.
Again, we're going to find out. I think he planned everything. I think this is all what he wanted. Now, I can't tell you why. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he is very excited to see her, and which is creepy. It's like, wait, aren't you supposed to be upset?
Yeah. It's all very disturbing.
And you might wonder, why did he have his bags packed when they picked him up?
Yeah, we don't know.
I think because he was ready to take a metaphorical trip.
But then why would you need a bag?
That's what I'm saying. That's why he doesn't need the bags, but it's all a show thing.
Okay. All right. Well, basically throughout this interview, we learned that, or basically Longlegs explains that Ruth is the 7th. And Ruth, I'm talking about Harker's mom. He says the 7th. So I'm like, I think it's 7th person that was given the same choice, and they're all given this choice. It's either Crimson or Clover. And basically what this all means, they're given a choice, either have your whole family murdered or you work with the devil.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is, again, he said that you're right. He said like the 7th. I'm like, my understanding is this has happened a bunch before.
Yeah. Again, the numbers, I don't get it. So Harker goes on to kind of press him about an accomplice. Like you had to have somebody working with you. And this is where this is interesting because on the second time through, you figure this out. But he talks about, he kind of goes in, I don't know if it's a song or he just starts yelling either way.
Knock, knock. A nice lady with a Bible and a congratulations.
Like he starts singing, but really he's telling what's going on. And he says, a nice lady with a Bible arrives with a prize from the man downstairs. And the prize would be the doll.
Yeah, and so he's leading you towards something is going on with Longlegs and her mother, Ruth.
Well, because he says, Harker, go ask your mom about the man downstairs, throws a Hail Satan.
Hail Satan.
And smashes his head.
Dude, I mean, I like that part. It was weird. I mean, that gave me chills. I'm like, what the F?
Dude, it's so freaking weird. And just smashes his head. I mean, he's dead.
Yeah,
Longlegs
no, there's no coming back. He's gone.
Oh, by the way, you want to know what happened to Carrie Ann?
Oh, what?
She's also dead because she jumped off the building at the place she was at.
I still don't know why that happened.
That part really messes me up because I don't either. And we're not going to tell you because we don't know right now.
Yeah. or later. We don't know at any time.
All right. So now we're about to turn it up to 10.
Get ready, guys.
Intensity. Okay. So from here, Lee, Harker, and Browning go to her mom's house. Now, Browning is the female FBI agent that's working with her and Carter. You may think you haven't heard us talk about her hardly. It's because she's hardly in the movie.
She really doesn't matter much, except for what's going to happen soon.
This is very important. She's going to play a pivotal role in this movie. They get to Harker's Ruth Harker, which is Lee's mom's house, right?
Right.
And basically Lee's like, hey, Browning, stay in the car. I'm going to go in there and talk to my mom, confront her on this whole thing.
Yeah, they want to take her in for questioning because obviously Longlegs says she has something to do with this.
Yes. Now, so Lee gets out of the car, starts looking for her mom in the house, and we get to me, is the most shocking, scary, disturbing part of the movie.
I just didn't see this coming at all.
No, and the way they shot this is great. So we see Browning sitting in the car, and they have the camera angle in front of her. It's kind of like almost to the side on the passenger seat, but you can see out the back window. And in the back, you can see the forest line and the sky a little bit. And as you're watching it, it all looks normal. And all of a sudden you see a movement, and the whole time Ruth is back there and she's totally blending in with like the scenery.
I don't think I ever even saw that.
This happens really quick. I watched it multiple times, but it happens really quick. You don't even notice her there, but she's standing behind her, and then she shifts, and then they have the music go up. Oh. And it's just like you get goosebumps.
That's creepy.
So Ruth walks over to the side of the car. Browning never sees her, with a shotgun and just blasts her.
Oh, right to the face. You don't see it, but we know what happened.
It's disturbing. It's
because it almost like kicks her a little bit, you know?
Oh,
you just feel the power of it.
I'm pretty sure you see like
there's spray.
Yeah.
And actually, then she shoots her once, and then she goes, I think, to the other side and finishes it.
She goes to the passenger side, and it's a bloodbath.
Yeah, it's like,
it's disturbing. Yeah. So Lee hears these shots from in the house. She, I think, saw her mom out there, and she runs out to confront Ruth, where we see Ruth is now aiming this gun at a Lee doll.
What I thought at first was a little child, and then I realized these stupid dolls look like little children.
They're amazing dolls, guys.
They're great.
If you want a doll, we know a guy.
So yeah, enter promo code Fright Night Flicks. I'll sell you a doll.
Oh, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, don't
don't
put that bad juju on us.
So Ruth looks at Lee and says, "You're free," and shoots this doll in the head. Which now we get into where weird stuff starts happening. The doll has, I think, some black smoke, but more importantly, Lee has this like black smoke leave her head, and she falls to the ground and passes out.
So clearly something has been in her head, right? And in the doll. So you see that connection between Lee and the doll, right? And it's left both of them.
Yes.
The black smoke is probably Satan. Just gonna tell you right now.
Yeah, it's satanic smoke.
Yeah.
Now we have like a flashback, and we basically learn what has been going on. So here's the the last piece of this puzzle.
Strap in.
So we learned that Longlegs brought a doll to the Harker's house way back in the day when she was a kid.
Right.
When he brought the doll, he explains that it's a prize. It's the same thing we heard him talk about the nun bringing the doll.
Yeah, except for he's bringing the doll. It's a prize from the church.
Correct.
He won.
Well, yeah. So Ruth at this point has to make a deal with the devil because we see she gets tied up by Longlegs.
I don't understand why or how this whole scenario happened, but Ruth had to make the choice to either her and her daughter are going to die, or Ruth has to do some dirty work, maybe clean, Is that what he said? Scrub it clean like a like he gave some weird analogies with this stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, she had to make some deal with the devil, or else Harker was gonna die. Lee.
Right. So we learn Longlegs has been in her basement the entire time, making these dolls, putting these balls in the dolls. Sounds
metal
bad.
orbs.
Metal orbs, putting the metal orbs in these dolls. We also learned the devil wanted Lee like for himself. The devil wanted a little girl for his own.
So let's be clear here. The whole time when Lee was growing up, Lee Harker, the agent that we've been following, Longlegs lived in her basement. And you might wonder, why didn't she see him? How didn't she know this? Because whatever that was in the doll, that possession, she was possessed basically to where she couldn't see certain things. So she never could see Longlegs in her house.
And they say basically she saw what the devil wanted her to see.
Right.
Which then makes you look back on everything you've watched and like, this was all planned.
And then you wonder, well, then why did it show her where this whole thing was? Like, why did she find Longlegs? Is this all part of the devil's plan?
Is this exactly how it's supposed to happen?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Questions.
So we learn Ruth has been working with Longlegs. She's the one that she dressed up as a nun, would bring the dolls to these houses with these families, deliver it, and then watch the families murder each other.
She had to make sure it happened. However, I guess, why, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like once that doll's in the house, it's game over for the family.
Yeah, it's like, why do you even have to watch? I think the devil's pretty strong enough to do it on his own, but who cares? It was creepy.
Yes. So Lee awakens because, she passed out when that stuff came out of her head. She saw this flashback, whatever. She wakes up and hears the phone ring. She picks it up and it's the devil who's saying, "You're late for little Miss Ruby's birthday party," who's Agent Carter's daughter. All right, we're getting to the end of the movie here. Lee arrives at Carter's house, who is her partner on this case.
Because we know it's Ruby's 14th birthday, which I don't know why they all didn't put this together earlier, but who cares?
Yeah, I mean, Carter should have known this, right?
Well, he wasn't, but they made a point. He wasn't like a believer in a lot of this.
Yeah. So, and we also, again, she's worried that her mom's already at this house and it's game over, for everyone. So we see Carter's alive. Good start.
Yeah.
She goes in the living room. We see the doll is there.
It's a little awkward in that living room. The doll's there, as well as Lee's mom is sitting across from the doll.
Yeah. So Ruth is there in her nun suit or whatever you call it. Yeah. And then we have Carter, his wife, and then the daughter sitting next to the doll. Daughter loves the doll. People are acting weird.
The doll puts people in trances, you find out. I think as soon as the doll's in that house, everyone then becomes under its spell.
Yeah. So Carter's wife explains he should cut the cake. And this is where they're basically talking about murder.
Dude, this part was freaking creepy.
This part was like
so weird.
Extremely creepy because all their personalities were so weird. And like Carter's like aggressive and he's like, okay, I'll cut the cake and the way they say it, it's like, basically he's explaining he's going to murder everyone.
Yeah. And then but even the mom says, so while they're all in there, the mom's talking to Lee because, the other people can't really hear him, I guess. Or they're in their own world. And the mom says that the wife's already dead.
The woman is already dead.
Yeah, that part was she's really not. Yeah, but the wife also has this weird thing where she like starts to like have a reaction and then she gets back into
What'd you say, honey?
Yeah.
It's almost like she was afraid for a second, but then she's like, oh yes, we have to cut the cake.
That's what I thought too. I'm like, oh, is she starting to break out of the spell or something? But
it's almost like, yeah, she did.
But why did she say she's already dead? Does she mean like she's going to be dead in a second?
Probably. Yeah, so the part you're saying is where Lee confronts the mom, Ruth, and Ruth's like the mom or the Carter's wife is already dead, but like you said, she's sitting there. That's what's so odd.
Right.
So then Carter takes his wife, they go in the kitchen.
Well, no, a great part too. Carter's like, or the wife says, okay, we're going to go in the kitchen. And Carter's like, or she's like, I think the wife says, we're going to go in the kitchen. We'll be back. And he's like, we're going in the kitchen, but I'm coming back.
I'm so sorry. I'll be right back.
No, I'll be right back. You'll still be in the kitch.
You're staying in the kitchen.
It's so dark.
Oh, creepy.
It's so dark. But Lee just like this is the weird part. Lee lets this just happen.
So when you're watching this, it's frustrating because you're like, do something.
Yeah.
But no, she can't, which makes me think at this point, she's also a little bit under this spell.
It does. It makes you wonder. But the spell broke from her head at one point, but she's now in the room with another doll.
It's whatever, you're right.
And then there's a Carrie Ann girl who was under the spell, but that broke. But then she
back
offed herself.
to the
It's
thing.
confusing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where it gets confusing. So she confronts her mom again, and basically her mom tells her that they'll all go to hell and burn if she doesn't do this.
Well, twist and turn. And
Twist and turn and burn. And then she explains that like the little girl Lee, she's saying this to Lee, but would never be able to grow up if she didn't do this.
Again, explain the mom had to do it to save Lee.
Yeah, and then she throws at some point in here she throws a Hell Satan out. Okay, I can't remember.
It's a bad
exactly
sign
what.
right there. Bad
It's
sign.
a bad sign.
Hail Satan.
Carter comes back into the room. Lee shoots, kills Carter. Then she turns it on her mom. This is where her mom might have thrown a Hell Satan, and then she shoots her mom.
Lee says something about like, "Hey, mom, stop," or something, and she says, "Don't call me that." And she
Yeah.
goes to try to stab her, and Lee kills her.
Mom, please. Don't call me!
Throw this out there. Was she really her mother? I don't know.
I don't know, dude. She did say that. Like it was like totally possessed at that point.
Yeah.
So whatever, shoots her. She goes to Lee, tries to kill the doll, which is a great idea. In fact, you could have done that before all this, and it should have released some of these possessions.
I think it would have saved everyone if it. Yeah.
But didn't do that. So, anyways, it goes to shoot the doll. Can't. She's out of ammo.
Right.
So she takes the little.
Well,
girl,
she's not out of ammo because she didn't unload all. She only shot 3 times. Her gun's jammed. I read a little backstory on this. I think her gun's jammed, and you see her trying to shoot it, and then I think she goes like full possessed. This is speculation at this point because she's just staring at the doll, clicking the gun, but nothing's happening. And then she tells the girl, "Let's go."
Yeah, I was kind of thinking I would smash its head.
Yeah, so that's why I think at that point she may have been under the possession, but it leaves a gap for a part 2.
Yeah. So she takes the little girl and they leave, or they walk out of the room.
Yeah.
The movie ends with Longlegs singing to Lee, and he says "Hell Satan" with a smooch to the camera.
Hail Satan.
Yeah, it was weird, dude. Weird. Great. I thought it was a really interesting ending.
I guess that footage would have been back when he was in the police station. I don't know.
I think that's where it came from. Yeah. Yeah, he's dead.
He's dead. So that's Longlegs.
So we're going to make a separate video going into really a lot of speculation, but there's a lot of interesting questions I just want to go through real quick. One thing I've heard, Longlegs might be her father. That's one thing that they've thrown out there, and there's some hints towards that. There's another thing out there that her mother may not have been her mother at all, and this could be just this endless cycle. Now Lee is the one who's going to be taking the girl, and that little girl is going to grow up to be like a new Lee, and Lee's going to be killing people. But again, it's like, who's the doll maker then? I don't know.
There's a lot, and you can really, I feel like this is one of those movies where you can really think about it and almost come to your own conclusion. There's also a theory that there could be something very sinister, not just demonic possession, but this could be, how do you say it? A bigger... I'm trying to say without saying it. It could be about
some other bad things that happen to
in
young
reality,
people.
Yes.
Yeah.
So maybe fathers do to young people. I can't say words, and nor do I want to. Gross things. And if you look into the theories, it kind of makes sense.
But that's like kind of understanding what's happening, but that's not really what we're seeing in the movie. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
That's like going deep into like looking at a broad perspective.
And that's, I think, what I'm trying to get home with, like what we're saying right now. This is why I do think the movie's good, because it makes you think about things. I started like looking up all these theories and I get like obsessed with it. Right.
Yeah.
And then it's just an interesting movie.
Okay. Well, let's just get to it. What's your final like rating or review of it? Like,
I think it's worth a watch for sure. If you like scary movies and horror movies, I think it's a good watch.
Yeah, I think we can keep this simple. I would totally agree with you. First time I watched it, I was kind of like, I don't know how I felt about it. It was okay. I would actually give it, I'd say it's good. I'd say it's definitely worth watching through. It's going to make you think. It's very creepy. Not the scariest movie, but overall it's good.
Yeah, the fact that I wanted to watch a second time to try, because as soon as you finish it, you're like, okay, hold on, I want to rewatch it now knowing what happened.
Yeah.
And it was fun to watch a second time through.
Yep.
I don't want to watch it a third time though.
No. Okay, let's jump into some trivia and then we'll close this out for you guys. So, first thing, there's an Annabelle doll in this movie.
Oh, I did. I read about it. I didn't see it.
Darren will show you guys right here for our listeners. It's in a flashback scene where Ruth and Lee are hugging. It's like on the back underneath the lamp.
That's a cool little Easter egg.
Yeah.
even though the anabolic,
yeah.
She's ripped, bro.
The most ripped doll you've ever seen. Many of Longlegs' encrypted messages contain misspellings and poor grammar after being decoded. This pays homage to the Zodiac Killer, who is also known for his coded messages containing typos, which often made it more difficult to decode his messages.
Cool.
Yeah, that is very Zodiac. And actually, I don't think I put it in here, but there's another trivia one that from the windshield, he has a Zodiac sign in his car, Longlegs.
Oh, okay.
It's a Zodiac, and it's actually Lee's sign, whatever it is.
Oh, that's creepy. Yeah, there's a ton. Trust me, there's a ton of Easter eggs in this movie.
Oh, yeah. Writer and director Osgood Perkins is actually the son of Anthony Perkins, who is the actor best known for playing Norman Bates in Psycho.
Oh, that's interesting. That's cool.
Yeah.
Dude,
weird, right?
how long ago was that movie? Should do a review on that one.
Yeah.
No, I'm not that into that movie, but I respect it.
Don't you have to like read it off a scroll?
Read it off a scroll. I think it's written in stone.
Okay, last bit of the trivia that I loved this part. The end credits scroll down instead of up.
Oh, dude, that's because like the inverted thing. Yeah. That's actually kind of creepy, and I like
love that touch.
That is a good touch because it's very subtle.
You know the funny thing? I'm like, huh? All credits don't scroll down.
I don't even know which one they scroll.
Star Wars definitely scrolled up. I thought others scrolled down, but then I went to a movie and checked it out. That
it tracks. It tracks.
It makes sense. Anyways, that's the end of our Longlegs. What are we doing next? Oh, I know what we're doing next. We're doing Terrifier.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of the movie, never seen it, so I'm excited.
Yeah, so next review is Terrifier. During Halloween, we're for sure going to do Halloween.
The actual movie Halloween.
Hey, if you guys also, if you want to give us the next movie, you gotta pay a little, but you can become part of our Patreon and you can tell us what to watch. Anyways, thank you guys all for listening. It's very much appreciated. So we will catch you on the next one.
See ya.
See ya.